Alright guys, so this is going to be a short one today. Right here, we have the DC Comics Flash. What's up everybody, this is the Bay Area's only toy reviewer, Carl. And this isn't just any Flash. This is not just any Flash. No. This is my favorite Flash. Wally West. Not the black one. Not the black one. Not even once. I have my things that I feel about the African American Wally West, but I won't get into that here. But this is my favorite Flash. The Wally West Flash. This is, for those of you who aren't familiar, this toy may look a little odd. It may look a little weird proportionately because this design is based off of the Ed McGuinness design. I believe they made a Zoom, a Superman, a Power Girl. I believe they made a Wonder Woman. And I could be wrong, but I think they made a Green Lantern. But I like Ed McGuinness. I like his style. I like the way he draws. I like how clean his figures look. I like how cartoony and animated they look. He's a very good, prolific comic book artist who I admire very much. His work is very recognizable. So you know it when you see it, just like this guy. So I like Ed McGuinness. I like Wally West. I like The Flash. So when I found out that they made a figure of this guy, I knew I had to have it. Now, don't get me wrong. Okay, I don't want you guys to be under the impression that I'm just like buying these figures left and right. These are figures from my collection I've had for years. I just decided to just start making videos about them because I own a lot of the stuff and I've had them for years. So there's that. Like I said, if you think that this thing looks weird proportionately, well, it's supposed to look like that because this is the way he draws. In my opinion, I think this thing looks great. It looks great sitting on your shelf. I mean, look at this guy. This guy looks like, I don't know, like a buff ass, like if Taz in his prime wore a Flash suit, he'd look like this, right? Like, to me, aesthetically, this is very pleasing. I like the way this guy looks. But let's get into the articulation. Starting at the head, his head goes around 360, like so. His arm goes around 360. He doesn't have any, it's not on a ball peg, it's on a hinge, so it just goes around, that's it. His arm goes around 360, no bicep swivel, but he does have a forearm swivel, no wrist swivel. Same thing with the other side. Same deal. It's on a ball peg, both shoulders. Forearm swivel. Got a hinge on the leg, gets you to about there. Gets you back about that far because he's got this buttocks flap here that completely prevents that. No waist swivel, no abdominal hinge, single jointed knee, single jointed elbow. It's got a hinge at the calf, nothing on the ankle, nothing. Now with this guy, I mean, just look at the face. My focus, yeah, look at that. Look at how nice and look how good this is. This is not a figure that is designed for articulation purposes. This goes into another one of my categories that I classify toys in, and that is the statue. This guy is designed to sit on your shelf and look good and nothing else. You can get a few dynamic poses out of them if you are really, really creative, which I feel like I can do. Not that I'm saying that I'm like this ultra creative guy, but these are my figures. So I know what their limits are and I know what I can and can't make them do. This is not somebody you're going to get a lot of dynamic poses out of. He's not. He stands there and looks good. That's what he does. That's what he's supposed to do. And I like the design. I like the artist. I like this Flash. He's my favorite He's my favorite Flash, Wally West. An interesting fact of how you can tell the difference. So I bet you're wondering, okay, so how can I tell the difference between Barry and Wally? Typically, and this depends on the comic book artist that is drawing. Typically, Wally West, his belt goes to a taper here, whereas Barry's would be one solid bar all the way around. Now, I'm not referring to the television show. I'm referring to the comic book. But it really depends on the artist that's drawing the comic and what he does and does not remember from the previous artist. So what I'm saying is sometimes you can have a general idea of which Flash you're reading about if you were to look at him at first glance. But sometimes the few aesthetics that are on the costume will throw you off. Typically, Barry will have wingtips on his boots, where Wally does not. But like I said, that changes. Individual artists may vary. And the number one thing that allows me to tell them apart is, if I could just get in there, if it'll focus for me. There we go. I think that's the best I can do. Wally's eyes are green, while Barry's eyes are blue. And the reason why that is because there was a coloring era. Originally, Wally West is not the African-American one, obviously, but the ginger Wally West, the one with the red hair. Originally, his eyes were supposed to be blue, but because there was an editing error and his eyes were turned green, they kept it. And they worked that into the storyline as a possible another universe folding over into theirs type of thing. And I really thought that was creative, and I really thought that was good. Like I said, there's not a lot to really say about this guy. He's just a good looking figure, solid figure. Kind of short and stocky, which is indicative to a lot of Ed McGuinness's characters that he draws. If you get a chance, look up some of his artwork. If you're a fan of that cartoon-esque type of style, not so much photorealistic, but super ultra stylized cartoon style, he will get a kick out of some of the stuff that you've seen him draw. Should I say? They actually made a Batman/Superman Public Enemies. They made an animated feature on it, which exclusively features his animation style, which I think is great because he got that moment in the sun for being such a great artist. I mean, I like this guy. I think he's great, and I'm going to see if I can balance him out, and we'll get into final thoughts. Okay, so here's my thing on this guy. The DC Universe, or the DC Comics, rather. Wally West. Flash. Designed by Ed McGuinness. If you don't mind a stylized difference in appearance, you will like this guy. If you are a Wally West fan, then I would recommend picking him up. There are some things about the figure that if you are a traditional fan of like realistic, normal proportioned human type characters, you may not like this guy. But if you're a Flash fan, like I am, and I'm a huge Wally West mark, not the African American one, then you will enjoy this guy. He's a shelf statue. He stands there, he looks good, and that's what he's supposed to do. There are other Wally West figures that are more articulated that you can get more out of, but I like this guy. I like the artist. I like the toy. The paint is, I guess, sharp. I mean, it doesn't bleed. It's not a mess like other figures I've seen. The lines on the lightning bolt here are really, really sharp and crisp. If I have to give one negative, it's the wingtips up here. I don't like that. I don't like how they protrude out like that. Not for aesthetic reasons, but because I'm afraid they could easily get broken, especially if you were to put him in a box, he accidentally hits another figure, and then one of these things is coming off. So like most figures, if you end up getting them, just be careful with the wingtips here. And it's a great figure. I recommend it. I have him in my collection. I'm not suffering from any buyer's remorse as a result of getting this guy. So I'd say pick him up. You won't regret it. So that's it for this video. I'm the Bay Area's only toy reviewer, and I'm signing out.